The good old days is a great answer to the question of what if Metroidvania with your kids in the 1970s or 80s and you're not highly trained paladins or vampire hunters. That's pretty much what the good old days is. That and what if all of that was in a Sega Genesis, but more on that later. I'll start with the cons because there's more pros to this and I'd want to focus on those more. Cons. Controls and movement is pretty much it. If you look into the controller mapping, you'll see quite a few buttons unused. This means that certain controls tend to share certain buttons and it might end up confusing the game engine a lot more than it should, resulting in this other part, movement. Movement's a bit slow and kind of sluggish, which makes sense in this universe since you are kids and you're not really, again, super agile, super strong paladins or ninjas or vampire hunters. But other than that, you could get used to it if you played it a bit more. Pros. Excellent premise, there's no real big bad or the world to save, you just have to pay up an exorbitant amount of debt, and raiding the sewers is the way to do it. Naturally, in Metroidvania, area locking is a good mechanic for thorough exploration, especially in how they gate skills in this game, which is by finding your friends and switching between them. The game is also time-bound, unlike other Metroidvanias, which may be a con to some people, but at least is accurate to the story it's trying to tell, which is fine 30k by the end of tonight. Overall, it has excellent vibes. The pixel art and the soundtrack really captures the Genesis vibes that when the full game drops and I actually get this, I don't think there's any other controller I'd like to play this with other than my 8-bit Doe M30, which really gives you that Sega Saturn, Sega Genesis type of feel. I'm not sure exactly how they did it, but that soundtrack in particular has this sort of cozy fuzziness that reminds me of just playing on the Genesis that we briefly had when I was a kid on like weekends or weekday afternoons, and it basically, if you hear it, if you experience it, you know what I'm talking about. It gets to that close. Go ahead and try this demo.